Welcome to the Bullits and Bourbon podcast, where it's not about the bourbon, but more about who you share it with.
Everybody, welcome back to Bullits Bourbon, episode 56, and it is our whiskey-heavy episode, as we usually do midweek. But instead of jumping right into the bourbon and whiskey reviews like we normally do, we wanted to start out by first saying huge shout-out to Liberty Pole Spirits. We just did our first ever Bullits and Bourbon single barrel pick with some of our favorite people of the entire world last Friday night, and you're looking at part of the picking team. We're missing Jim and Ty, and of course Kevin and Rob Huff, who are from Liberty Pole. And man, we had a blast, guys. Right?
Oh yeah, you can't forget our intern.
Yeah, Matt. Thank you, Matt. I tell you what, it was fun to watch Matt grow from never knowing anything about whiskey and get this education. I mean, pretty much on site, right? I mean, he really got to experience all of the phases of what it takes to do a barrel pick. And, you know, if you've never been a part of a picking team, there are a lot of ways to do it. We're very fortunate because we're very close with Liberty Pole Spirits. They're family to us, and it was just fun. It was genuine fun. If you haven't checked it out, we have it up on our Patreon. The entire video is also on YouTube and stuff. It's just us sitting around after we did the pick and fellowshipping and just being a bunch of dummies, which is, we're pretty good.
Well, I think, like you like to say, we were very well lubricated that night.
Yeah, we definitely were. We got down there a little early. We enjoyed some of the, I mean, listen, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, you come up to Pittsburgh and you come to the Southwest Pennsylvania area, you've got to make Liberty Pole a stop on your trip. The food is phenomenal. Chef Alex, shout out. Dude, Chef Alex knows what's up. Even though he likes Duke's mayonnaise. Look, he's a Southern boy like me. We're both from Florida, so go Gators. But he makes amazing food. The cocktails are off the chart at Liberty Pole. Every month they flip their cocktail menu up. They've inspired us, something that we're going to do down the road that's going to be pretty dope. Stay tuned because we're going to have a lot of details coming out for our single barrel. Yes, you will be able to order it online in PA, and there'll be a good amount.
Good amount of bottles for out of state.
Yeah, for out of state. So we think we did a pretty damn good job on grabbing a fucking dope ass barrel. Just to be quite honest, of course, we couldn't have done it without that Liberty Pole family, and man, we had a lot of fun. So stay tuned. More to come on that. Now,
hey. That's a nice hat. Is that a new hat?
No, it looks
kind of darker.
You got the light.
I got the old, yeah.
And I've also got the better looking sweatshirt.
I don't know. I like the maroon. So
your shit's sweet.
If you want to go ahead and cop some swag from Bullits and Bourbon, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you. bullitsandbourbon.com.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Bullits A&D Bourbon, not with the ampersand. I even looked that up because I always wonder what the @ sign.
The @ sign.
Also, Bullits with an I.
Yes, that's true too. Bullits.
Do not forget that.
So if you're looking for some cool merch, listen, we're the three of us. Connor's a degenerate. We're all sporting our sweatshirts that are made by Champion. Man, these things are comfy. But I mean, we've got a whole line of T-shirts, fun stuff. We got some glassware on there. We do have these hats. In a very, very limited quantity on there as well. These are the Richarlison 115s. They're dope. They really look good. I think we have a very limited quantity before we put our next order. And we have Glencairns as well, as you can see. Those are in limited quantity right now too, because we have to hand ship those. We can't do it through our
drop shipper.
Yeah. So check them out. They make some cool ass stocking stuffers, and I mean we're in that fall time, baby. Come on.
Hey, just support us. We're not making a lot of money. We're making no money.
We're negative money.
Yeah, we're negative money.
So while we're on that, listen, we want to pitch one more thing before we get into the whiskey review. Actually, two more things. We are we're in the middle of October. And we're doing this bottle giveaway, guys. If you are a paid Patreon member and you get on we hit 50 paid members, we're going to give away a bottle of ETL and Weller's Special Reserve, the green label. And maybe we throw something else in there. Who knows? We're crazy like that because we basically just are horrible with our finances and we just waste all of our money on this shit. No, but seriously, we're getting close to having enough paid subscribers on Patreon that you have a chance at winning a bottle that in many parts of this nation is just very difficult to get.
Is that Craig with his phone?
God damn it, Gregory.
Dude, this is what happens when you have 5 kids. 5 kids, and here he goes.
None of them are yours. Just be quiet.
No, all right.
Yeah, you're right.
He's probably looking for Amazon or UPS, but
anyways, jump on Patreon. Check us out, Bullits and Bourbon on Patreon. You can find the link on our socials as well. And for our Instagram and our Facebook members, you also get entries into the drawing on the Facebook and Instagram side as well for a bottle of Eagle Rare and Stolen Wolf. The Stolen Wolf, don't sleep on this Stolen Wolf. We got the absolute privilege to go out and meet Eric Wolf and his wife and his father, and they make phenomenal whiskey. Matter of fact, so good that we found out that this jackass right here had a bottle of 8-year that he somehow didn't share with us.
I'll be bringing it on Friday.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, this is PA whiskey at its greatest. I can't speak highly enough about Stolen Wolf and Liberty Pole Spirits. They're like yin and yang, man. They're balancing it out. They're doing great things. So you don't want to miss out on this opportunity to win these bottles. All you got to do for to get registered to win is like us on Facebook.
The podcast is going to be done by the time you're done pitching this. You want to hurry up?
You got to follow us on Instagram, tag 3 people. Follow us on Facebook, tag 3 people. It's pretty simple. It's very low cost, right? No cost, right? So, I'm going to leave it at that, but don't miss out on a chance. And again, hit us up on our Patreon. We got a lot of cool content that we're coming up with. Part of this is I'm going to cut Jay off because he's super long-winded and we're never going to get finished. I hate you. I hate your
November
face.
2nd, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, we're going to be down at Southern Tier Distillery on the North Shore.
Yes.
Saturday, we'll be there about noon. For who knows how long. We're going to have a ton of giveaways, ton of swag to give away. So come down, support the podcast, have a few good drinks. They got their own whiskey, and they got some amazing beers.
It's Pitt Stanford game.
Pitt Stanford game.
3 o'clock kickoff that day, correct? It's,
3 o'clock kickoff. So we'll be down there
game.
noon.
So
home game. Come down, check us out. It's going to be huge. Listen, come down to the bar, check out their cocktail menu. Listen, we're gonna kind of like get a little crazy because we are beer guys. We like beer. We don't drink it anywhere near like we do whiskey because it just fills us up. But I know that you and I, we really love the Southern Tier pumpkin.
Oh, dude, Southern Tier pumpkin is to me is hands down the best.
Yeah.
Fall pumpkin beer.
You might as well come out because October's coming to an end, and hopefully they'll still have it November 2nd.
Well, Southern Tier, very close to the stadium though too, so it's a great place to come down, have a couple of drinks, and you could get right to the stadium though. But come down, check us out, shoot the breeze with us though too. We'd love to meet everybody though, have a couple of drinks, and then head on over to the game. Like Dan said, we're gonna have some giveaways down there. We're just generally down there to fellowship and just and get the word out and just have a good time. We hope that you would stop by, and sit with us. BS with us, have a beer, have a whiskey with us, have a cocktail with us. A Southern Tier on November 2nd. We'll be down there at noon. We'll probably be passed out underneath the bar by about
3.
So yeah, don't miss out Southern Tier down on the North Shore. How do you say it?
North Shore.
The North Shore.
The North Shore.
Downtown. So check it out. Again, that's gonna be a good time for everybody involved. So we got that all out of the way. And it was brought to our attention recently, and this is very valid. I think we need to be very, cognizant of this, that we have drifted off into some of the higher priced whiskeys, harder to find whiskeys.
And it's so funny because when we started at, you say you're not a tater chaser, but we have been doing a lot of taters lately.
Yeah. But I think that our definitions of taters have also kind of evolved. So, Craig and you and I were joking about, like, we used to get appalled when you'd spend more than $100 on a bottle of whiskey, right? And now, like, sometimes you'll be like, oh, it's only $250 for this bottle. And we're like, oh, that's not bad. What's happened?
Well, God, none of us here have a lot of money. We don't have a money tree in the backyard, though. But as we've started to evolve and we've started to acquire a lot more bottles, and we've just very simply become over time being like, oh, that's only 125, 130.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's correct that though.
So let's bring it back.
Going with time. But when we talk about tater bottles though too, what do you call a tater bottle too? I mean, your Blanton's, your Weller, some of your Wellers, your Edge, your Greens though too, your Eagle Rare. But a lot of the things we've started to get into too are a whole different breed of bottles.
So I equate this to, you both grew up in the 90s.
Well,
wait. Let me finish. I'm not going to where you think.
The 90s. I grew up in the 80s.
You grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. You two were addicted to Pokemon, so now it's with whiskey. I gotta catch them all.
Oh Jesus, here he goes.
It wasn't Pokemon in the 90s, you dummy.
90s? That was 2000.
I don't know. But
It just comes off the.
I don't.
But that's what you guys are with whiskey. I gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
I love.
You know what I remember from the 90s? I never forget.
Your mom.
No, your mom, Dan. That's what I remember from the 90s, like Sweet American Pie. But
no, that was 2000s as well.
Boone's Farm Wild Island. That's what I remember from the 90s.
I remember Mad Dog 2020.
Connor is like literally sitting here going, "What the fuck
What
are
year
these
were you
old
born, Connor?
idiots talking
2000.
about?" Brah.
Not a 90s guy.
Wow.
You were a 90s guy. You were just in your dad still.
Dan, when were you born?
81?
No, you, Connor. When?
When was I born?
Yeah, October. So where were you 9 months prior, Dan?
All over the place.
Oh.
All over.
I just got your joke.
You thought about getting a DNA test?
It's too much math for him.
Yeah.
You lost us with trying to add us.
9 was hard for these two.
See, all right, enough. Anyway, so what we're doing is we're going to bring this back to whiskey that everybody can find, everybody can afford, and that is just genuinely really, really, really good whiskey. And
I would go with 3 really. So, I mean, it's good whiskey.
It's good whiskey. It's something that it doesn't require searching out. It doesn't require you breaking your wallet over, and they're always on my shelf.
Yeah.
And in the case of one, which is the Elijah Craig, the big bottle here, it's big for a fucking reason. It's big because my wife loves Elijah Craig small batch, and so what we did is we lined them up. Basically, we had a couple pour of these. These are great everyday sippers. They don't hurt to watch the bottle go in the trash. I was showing Connor, I think Jennifer's on bottle number 10 of the year. So she doesn't mess around with it. So give it a sip. This is, we're going to go with, the first bottle we're going to go is the Knob Creek 9 year. That was the first one.
So which one's for which for me?
Knob Creek 9 years in your big cup. So go with the Knob Creek 9 year first.
So I got...
I mean, this is anybody can find this. This is the great thing about it.
See, I like it because it's sweet on the nose, very, very easy. It doesn't have that ethanol smell to it.
Yeah,
enjoyable on the taste. It's citrus,
You're
a little bit of vanilla.
Wrong one. You're literally sipping the wrong one. How do you mess this up? I just pointed to the big glass. Put that glass down.
Army.
I swear to God. No.
That one was pretty good.
Put that one down.
I'm moving it.
Oh, my good God almighty. This is...
So, go ahead. Let's forget about Craig. Continue.
He's just going to drink everything he's talking.
Connor, what's your thoughts?
No, I think this is definitely on the simple side, but in a good way. For the price point, you can't really beat it. Those notes, there is a couple distinguishable notes I get. I get vanilla, like a charred oak maybe, maybe some caramel. It's for the price point, I mean, that's the purpose of this bottle, something you can sit back and drink. This one's 120 proof, so.
And it's a 9 year.
What's this bottle cost?
Between anywhere between 48 and I think like 62, which is depending on where you go. Do you remember seeing a price most recently of it? I mean,
I think I've seen it for like 58 somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's
a typical shelf
price.
So it's
but it's one that you won't struggle to find, which is the nice thing is that it's always available because Knob Creek is of course owned by Beam Suntory, and they've got a huge operation, so they don't lack for being able to put out single barrels, especially or letting their whiskey sit in their bourbon, mature to where they want it to be. So what did you get on the nose, Craig? The nose, palate, and how do you feel about it?
Sweeter, little fruity. Maybe like Connor said, maybe like a vanilla, maybe a caramel or something. I can't quite tell, but I think it's a good shelf pour. But I'm still, for somebody new walking into whiskey, I would say it's 120 proof.
It's a banger.
So I would tell you, I think it has a little bit of a hug to it, though.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, nothing special about us, but we've had a little bit higher proof, though. So someone who might be walking into this, though, this could have a big hug to it, though. If you're new to it, though.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, if you're new to whiskey and you're just getting into whiskey, it's going to have a little bit of a larger hug than what you're probably used to with like some of the other bottles like Angel's Envy or Four Roses that has a lower proof.
Yeah.
For the proof, I don't really think it drinks that hot though.
No, I don't think it does either. I mean, I think with the Knob Creek, and you have the 9-year and then you have the Single Barrel Select, and they're both 120 proof. So I have this one out. We don't have this one in the cup, but they both have very similar character profiles. Taste profiles and nose profiles. They got caramel, vanilla on the nose. They smell a little sweeter, so it's an attractive aroma to people that may be looking for a bottle to get into. I mean, there are some people out there that just take to the higher proofs organically. They gravitate toward it.
Well, the thing that's great with Knob Creek is it's great to go ahead old-fashioned Manhattan or cocktail or something like that.
Yeah.
And usually when you do go out to a restaurant, that's one of the standard bottles that they have that you can go ahead and have your cocktail made with a Knob Creek product.
I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it could be the Pennsylvania market, but a lot of times when we go out here for an old-fashioned, I hear Bullet, very common one, Knob Creek. But I will say that...
And Woodford is usually the other one.
Woodford's very common. I don't think... Woodford, Double Oak, another great shelfer. I think a lot of times from most people I've talked to, I don't hear a lot of hate on Knob Creek. I hear a lot of people like Knob Creek. Knob Creek 12, Knob Creek
15, the 10.
15. 15
the toasted oak.
I think 15, 18 get much tougher to find though. Knob Creek 12 is a little here or there on the shelves though. But Knob Creek I think produces a very solid product though.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've always been into whiskey. I didn't like Knob Creek for the longest time. I think, Dan, you remember this. When I got a couple bottles of Knob Creek just to kind of when I started building my collection up, I wasn't thrilled with it. And I bought a couple, I put them on the shelf, I let them sit there, whatever. And then I came back to them and I'm like, wow, what have I been missing here? And then I went on this Knob Creek binge, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was killing bottles of Knob Creek. Daily pours, just banging them away between the 9, the Single Barrel, the 12. I mean, I couldn't find enough of them. And it kind of reinforces what a couple of people have messaged us and said, which is you guys got away from the things that that most people can find. And that, to be honest with you, I really enjoyed. I mean, I have had nothing in my cup tonight but Knob Creek.
Yeah, same here.
And it's been completely enjoyable. It's a wonderful, for 120 proof and for the price. You're going to be hard pressed to find something that beats it with its flavor profile. If you're like me and you love a hot, long hug, it's going to be hard to beat.
It's not that hot.
It's not, but I'm saying it's a hotter hug.
It's a good hug.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that you hit the nail on the head with is it's one of those bottles that you can enjoy and you don't feel bad about finishing it because you can go out and find another bottle.
No.
The same night.
I don't think it's a hotter hug, but I think sometimes we forget for the person that's introductory. It can be a little warmer. I told you. Remember me telling you before, my worst shot ever was a Knob Creek shot, not on Knob Creek. So about 15 years ago, I was sitting here in school for the Army. We're in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I remember.
Wait, you said not on knob, but not? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not a knock on Knob Creek.
Oh,
but
okay.
Knob Creek was the worst shot I've ever done. It's not a knock on Knob Creek, given my story that when we were in Louisville, Kentucky, was not into whiskey. I was a Bud Light, Miller Lite drinker.
She hasn't transitioned yet.
We walked in this local bar. I never forget telling them, like, hey, we'll take one of Kentucky's finest. She says Knob Creek. at that point, this is 15, 20 years ago, didn't know Knob Creek was a Kentucky thing. I said, okay, great. We did that shot.
But you did a shot.
Correct. And I was like, never again do I want Knob Creek. Fast forward 15 years, got into whiskey. And probably for my first year or two, I didn't want Knob Creek because of that shot. And then as soon as I had Knob Creek, I'm like, this is amazing. But that shot, when I was 24 years old, 25 years old, I was like,
whiskey's meant to be sipped, not shot.
I agree. But when your buddy pulls up that bottle of military special, we shoot that. Don't sip on that.
No, you don't even drink that. So yeah, I think the collective, recommendation for those of you that are curious about like what's a good shelf sipper. This is one. Any of the Knob Creeks you find, they're all generally well priced. I mean, you get to the 15 and the 18, you're climbing in price.
Yeah, I would say too. Well, absolutely. Yeah, I think you're starting. I think Knob Creek 18, at least in Pennsylvania, I know some states are much cheaper. I think in Pennsylvania, Knob Creek 18, you're climbing to like 160, 170,
but
180.
you don't need to do that. I mean, here are two bottles that you can find that are really good bottles that check in at the 120 proof. And to contrast it, we have the Elijah Craig small batch. And this is a bottle that, look, I buy this in big bottles because that is how much my wife loves this, and I love it. And it's not just a great over the, a neat pour over the rock pour. It makes an amazing old fashioned. It makes an amazing Manhattan. It's a versatile bourbon, and made by Heaven Hill. It's got a ton of history behind it. Sip it, guys. Let me know what you think. Now this
is also very light on the nose.
Right. Well, it should be. It's a 90 proof, so it's a lower proof. So this is one here that listen. I'll relay this back. If you're going out, you're taking your lady out for a date. She's not a whiskey drinker, but she's curious. This is one that I would recommend. Start her off on, because it has all the flavor profiles you want in a bourbon, but without the higher proof. I mean, look, if you get her a couple of Knob Creek, things may go your way, but...
Oh, I forgot how good this is.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It's been so long since I've had this, I absolutely forgot how smooth and enjoyable this one is.
It's a very sweet, easy drinker.
I get the sweet. I get a lot of citrus, or a lot of fruit on the palate. Yes. Personally. What fruit? I couldn't narrow it down, but...
I get vanilla, I get nut, I get caramel on the nose. The oakiness pops out slightly more on the nose than it does for the Knob Creek, which I like. I like that subtleness to it. Being at 90 proof, though, it's just so easy. I mean, you get a lot of floral, citrusy notes on the palate. The hug isn't overwhelming. That if there's any knock to it, for me personally, and don't weigh this in your... Don't let this be a takeaway, because I love high hug bourbons. It doesn't have an enormous hug. It doesn't burn me the way that I expect it to. That's fine. It's not meant to.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a chest puncher. It's meant to be something enjoyable, smooth, mellow. It's a great everyday sipper. And this bottle here.
What that run you? That bottle,
$60. $60.
Oh man!
For a 1.75 liter. Yeah, I can't do that.
Did you get that at the BXE?
I did, but you can get that at PA Fine Wine Good Spirits. You can find it online. This is where you start to, it may not fit in with your collection on the shelves. Who cares, man? When you're mixing, I mean, like I said, we go through about a bottle of these a month.
That's a nice one just after work to just go ahead.
Yeah.
You really don't feel like drinking, but you just want to have a small pour, take the edge off for the day to relax and wind down. I think I need to start moving back to the Elijah Craig.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. As we get into the winter months, some of the things that the Elijah Craig does with its brand, now whether it's small batch, single barrel toasted rye, barrel strength, they all tend to have on the finish a cinnamony Is that right? Can you say that? Cinnamony?
See, I didn't get a cinnamon.
I didn't get the cinnamon.
I did not get the cinnamon on the back.
I've always picked them up on all of their products. I get a little bit more of a cinnamon. Damn it! Now I can't even say it. Cinnamon finish to it, which I love, especially when it gets colder outside, because it reminds me of like a
Fireball.
I was going to say.
Let me ask you, when's the last time y'all have had a sip of Fireball?
I'll tell you what. No,
1990, never, bro.
So Saturday night, I was out, for drinks with friends, and I asked the waitress what kind of whiskeys they got over there. The very first whiskey, she said, "Oh, we have Fireball." I'm like, okay, what else do you have?
Oh, that's a tragedy.
It was a tragedy,
dude. I just recently posted that on our Facebook. Screwball. I really thought I would get roasted so much more for my deadly sin.
People just didn't even respond. Here's the deal,
dude. They did. What was your thoughts, Dan?
I didn't respond.
We were making fun of you within 5 minutes of posting that.
Yeah, we had our own private group text that you weren't involved in.
There are literally private threads going on making fun of you. I had to go on under the Bullits and Bourbon and declare that we're sorry. We didn't realize we gave Craig the password to Bullits and Bourbon to make stupid fucking posts.
Well, I have to laugh because the intern wrote me. He's like,
"What a douche.
That wasn't me. Who the hell did that?" He's like, I don't know anything about whiskey, but who posted that?"
What I thought, yeah. So what I thought was really funny was within
he
minutes.
just bought a bottle full top.
Oh God, yeah.
It's great. It's great to laugh at each other. That's fine. I don't care if people laugh at me for the...
Good, because we're going to continue to do it forever.
For the screwball. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that love what? Crown, apple, salted caramel, peach.
The funny thing was there were good recipes, though, that people were actually posting in response. I will say this. It provoked a lot of back and forth. What was funny, though, was 8 O'Clock Shots, which is a group that we're a part of. Amazing group. Very, very big. Started the pandemic.
Sean O'Leary's group,
Sean O'Leary. Just really, really cool dude. He was.
I didn't realize I hit the big red button there.
He was pissed.
Sean, I'm sorry.
He was bad. And I got the backstory, and basically because they tried to help out Screwball, and they.
But let's not talk about the backstory. Yeah, we'll leave it for Sean to tell the story. So.
It was funny though because it just all of a sudden it got so many. It had so much traction in that group, but then people were throwing recipes out like. Screwball and chambray.
Eggnog, screwball with coffee.
Weird stuff.
I mean, and I think that sparked, Friday's episode, what we're already planning on doing for Friday.
But people are so afraid to always talk about those, your secret sin.
Well, you started the whole
you don't want to
thing
tell your friends, though.
From our account, I'm coming out of the closet.
And they thought it was me, and I was like, "Oh, Jesus!"
I had so many personal DMs. Like, I knew it, bro. I'm like, what? So listen. Back to this before we move on to coming out of the closet and other things. Check out Elijah Craig. You're not gonna. It's gonna be hard for you to get a better pour per dollar
ounce.
You're having all types of issues with your words.
I'm hungry, dude.
Bottom line, this is a good one if you go to your state store or go to your local, whatever it is, though. It's a good sipper, like we said. If you want to go home not feel guilty about finishing off an expensive bottle, it's a great pour.
And the thing is, if you don't want to spend money on Christmas for your boss, because we know we all got to suck up here and there, it's a good bottle that your boss will enjoy.
Yeah.
You don't got to break the piggy bank for it.
And there are many, listen, start off with this, then move to the toasted, then move to the single barrel, then move to the barrel strength. Give the Heaven Hill, listen, Heaven Hill makes really good whiskey up and down, but if it's not Old Fitz, Elijah Craig, Larceny, Mellowcorn. Mellowcorn's got its own loyal following that's out there. Heaven Hill, Bottled and Bond. They make a ton of great whiskey. It's a great place for you to start off. The same thing for Beam Suntory with Knob Creek. You've got so many different brands you don't have to break the bank on because these are large operations that are steeped in history, whiskey history. They know what they're doing. Their quality control is top notch. They make a good product. It's a very good way to go. Me personally, I lean toward higher proofs. But for cocktails, it's a perfect pour.
I will say for the old fashioned though too, the Knob Creek maple. If you're into a sweeter maple old fashioned, highly suggest getting the Knob Creek maple finished.
Well, especially for cocktails.
I'm glad
For an old-fashioned.
Well, it's like I said, on Friday, we're going to go ahead and dive into some cocktails, especially because it is the holiday season. And
The beginning of
the holiday
Yeah.
season. We got the fall. There's a lot of great fall cocktails.
So what's the assignment?
The assignment is each guy's going to come in with their own cocktail, and we're going to share.
And what's the theme? The theme is pumpkin?
No, it's not going to be
Is it-
pumpkin.
is it
There's
Halloween? Is
no,
it scary?
no Halloween. Just regular seasonal cocktail, fallish cocktail.
Fallish? So like a blueberry cocktail?
Here he goes.
Whatever you want, Jed. Whatever you want.
Well, I mean, I have some ideas.
He can't help himself, Dan.
I know.
All right, so that's the assignment. The assignment is we come in and we're going to do a cocktober. No, you can't say that. Cocktailtober?
It's October. Don't forget.
Dan jumped on the bandwagon.
It is October.
You just drew Dan in.
October?
He couldn't help himself.
You don't know. He's so excited about it. This is Cocktober. This is what this is the first annual Cocktober.
Maybe I'll use some chicken cock to make a cocktail.
And then it will be a double Cocktober.
Speaking of chicken cock, Dan, are you sponsored yet?
No, we're not going to talk about chicken cock anymore. They canceled my order.
Did they really?
Yeah. I had like
Chicken cock.
6 bottles and they canceled the order.
Bruh.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole order.
Really?
Yeah, I woke up Saturday. I see like money in my account. I'm like, where's this money from? And I seen it and I was like, oh, they canceled my
Don't
order.
go breaking my heart. Just short on the cocks, I guess. Yeah, hey, chicken cock, man. I don't know what's up, but that's
Oh, no, we're not talking about them no
what
more.
I'm talking about.
I'm not even pulling out a bottle. I'm a little salty.
You'll be back next week.
Yeah, double cock and all.
No, I don't know. I'm a little salty they canceled my
man.
order.
You hurt his feelings, chicken cock.
I was looking forward to that, the Field Ethos.
I can't believe they canceled your order.
Yeah. They canceled the order.
That's tough. Well, so we're doing a cocktail on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. Friday night's gonna be cocktail themed. So we'll hook it up. So that'll be fun. Just kind of a throwback to we haven't done that in a while. So I mean, that'd be good. We don't want to make it like centered on October though.
Nah, I mean we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna do something different.
So I'm curious to hear, Dan, you were talking about something earlier tonight. Something.
What, Ohio State loses to Oregon or the other
Let's talk about Ohio State, Oregon.
We won't go there, and I should have took that bet last week. But I think the big thing is, I did that movie review because some people said we needed to come up with some other content and continue to come out with content because they really want to hear our thoughts on a variety of topics. And it got me thinking because I was going down, my underrated 90s movies. You remember the 80s and 90s, you had your, I don't want to say kung fu or karate, but martial arts. You had
Karate Kid.
You had Bruce Lee. You had Chuck Norris.
Some Van Damme movies,
You
probably.
had some Van Damme
Steven
movies in the
Seagal.
90s. Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Like, who do we have in the 2000s? Like, when was the last...
If I had to guess your number one underrated movie in 2000 something, Brokeback Mountain.
I can't with you. I really... But no, like, there's not too many good, like,
We're talking
martial
about
art...
hand-to-hand combat movies,
Like-
There was a lot of hand to hand.
Yeah. Because you watched that movie like 3 or 4 times, I'm sure.
Oh my
But no, the thing is, like think about it. Back in the 80s and the 90s, you had those great martial art flicks, right? You always waited. You were going to the movie theater to see Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Chuck Norris, any of those guys. Jet Li, Jackie Chan.
Serious question for you though. When we talk about movies, I catch myself saying sometimes like, "Oh, this movie, da da da," and you're like, "No, dude, that was 30 years ago. It wasn't 15 years ago."
Yeah.
Do you catch yourself realizing how long ago it was?
know,
or,
dude.
Well, that's
or
like
feeling like it was.
I seen a post today. The movie Sandlot was based on the 50s and that was made in the 90s.
Sandlot?
Yeah, Sandlot, the movie Sandlot.
Well,
So
I mean,
if it
we're
was
talking about 90s movies. You're talking about like Steven Seagal movies. He wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. But
Do you even know who Steven Seagal is?
I know the name. I don't really know.
Bro, you need to catch yourself from Steve.
Man, Under Siege. Watch Under Siege.
No, Hard to Kill.
Hard
Connor,
to kill.
have
Hard
you
to
ever
kill.
seen an Indiana Jones movie?
Yes.
Which one? He's like the Crystal Skull. Whoa.
I think it was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, so you throw it back. Okay, that's respectable.
Have you seen an original Star Wars movie?
I've seen all the Star Wars movies.
My man.
Oh man.
My
No,
man.
but I'm taking it back to the martial arts though. But those were the good action flicks back in the '90s with us, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was like Bloodsport, Double Impact. He even did that
Legionnaire.
Legionnaire, and he did that movie with Dennis Rodman.
What?
Yeah, you don't remember the movie he did with Dennis Rodman?
No, I don't.
No. What was the one he did where he had the mullet? He was in Louisiana. That was a good one. Hard Target.
Hard Target. He also did Lionheart. You remember Lionheart where it was like the...
Yeah. Or Kumite.
The Bloodsport.
That shit was dope, dude.
Kumite
was the fight.
Yeah.
But, thanks.
But
I bet you were just happy to see him do a split on 2 chairs, weren't you? You're like, oh.
All right, I'm gonna wind us back in. But like seriously, like you don't see those type of movies anymore.
No.
No. What happened?
I'll tell you what happened. What happened is that now our action heroes are guys like no knock on Timothy Chalamet, the Dune actor.
See, I haven't seen Dune.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, let's talk about it. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Oh, what's the name of him? Timothy Chalamet. He's a great actor, but see, all these men nowadays, or male leads for these action roles, are all kind of
dorky.
How do I say it? They're bitch weak.
Nah, you got John Wick.
See, but John Wick was more
because that started Point Break all the way back in the 80s, bro. So John Wick's
he was in action. But let's talk about.
But John Wick is more of a shoot 'em up and a gunfight. There's a couple fight scenes. But you don't have the Jean-Claude Van Dammes, the Steven Seagals, the Jet Li,
you could say
Jackie
The Rock
Chan.
and Gerard Butler.
But even Rock, like, he plays
comedy.
the same character with, like, a comedy line for the most part.
If it wasn't for the Fast and the Furious, there wouldn't be a lot of, like, that extra...
You get a little hat off to Tom Brady, though. Or not Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
You want to give Tom Brady haters what I heard.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, but what he's talking about are, like, those super masculine martial artist, like, action...
Dude, Netflix. Karate.
Cobra Kai
has made a comeback.
Yeah,
but that's more teenage, like preteen.
I'm talking about the blockbusters, bro. Like the big banger movies where you had an action hero, like Schwarzenegger and Rambo were. We don't have
Stallone
that.
and
yeah. Did I say that?
Still, one of my favorite ones was Lethal Weapon 4, though. Little Jet Li, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Love that one.
So, I don't know. Here's what I attribute to. There's been a demasculation of men since about 2005, 6, 7.
Yeah, I'll say 2006 probably.
And I had this conversation today with my coworker, and we were talking about the reasons why men are the way they are. And listen, I mean, we're all men. Like, you know, we're not perfect. We're kind of simple creatures, right? Point us in the right direction and we go. But we really dove into this, and it was a good conversation. And, you know, the thing that she was bringing up was, why don't men X, Y, and Z? Why don't they just inherently know to do this, or this? And there are a lot of valid reasons, probably some that's biological, right? Like, you know, we're just not tuned into knowing. Like, if you want us to do something, tell us. But there's also been this demasculation process since 2000, right? Where it's not cool to be a manly man. It's not cool to be an alpha male. The alpha male are bad men. They hurt women. They hurt this dumb fucking bullshit.
Well, you see that remember the 21 Jump Street, the movie with
Channing Tatum
and not so fat Jonah Hill.
Yeah, and he's not popular anymore because he's not a traditional alpha male.
He's not effeminate. Like, okay, let me save world peace. Let me drive a Prius.
So what I thought was funny was she was like, well, what do you think caused this? And I was like, well, you know, off the top of my head, I can think of 2 things. And this may piss some listeners off. Just be pissed off. I don't fucking care. I call it the Oprah Winfrey effect, right? So here you had Oprah Winfrey, never married, no children, talk show host, giving advice to millions upon millions of women about how to raise children, be successful in a relationship, and what to look for in a man. Bitch, you've got no credentials. You have zero credentials on how to be a woman married with children and with a man. You may have a boyfriend. Congratulations, bitch. You single.
I mean, that's the same with Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes, and then Ellen DeGeneres is giving advice. Like, ladies, God, will you just seriously? What the fuck? That is like taking directions from a blind person who can't speak. What the fuck? Think
blind
about
person that can't speak.
I'm just saying.
Helen Keller?
Like Helen Keller. Hey, Helen Keller, which way do I go? Well, yeah, you're lost. That's the way it's going to be. Like, you have literally taken direction from people that have told you all the wrong stuff about men. And then men capitulated over a period of time. Well, most.
Some. I'd say some. I don't think our listeners.
But I'm telling you, it's reflected. Well, no, because our listeners drink whiskey and they've got balls and they're power women, or they're power women rather. I don't want to say both. That'd be weird. Like balls, power women. But for the most part, our society has shifted to where these stereotypes of men are bad. Are there aggressive men out there who are bad? Yes. Are there abusing women who are out there? Yes. It doesn't make it right. But when you start to change the whole dynamic of what a man is stripping away from him being a protector, a guardian, the one that provides, like you're tearing away the soul. So don't bitch and complain when you have weak males in your society, and then there's none I want to date or none I want to marry. Well, Oprah Winfrey did.
Well, here's the thing. I know, Connor, you probably know the Tate brothers, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I liked what, I don't know if it was Andrew or who's the other brother?
It doesn't matter.
Go ahead, holler it out.
Isaac Tate.
No, it's not Isaac Tate.
Isaac.
It's Andrew Tate. Well, I forget, but he made a comment about beta males and alpha males, and it really hit home with me. And he was talking about, and a lot of our women viewers are going to hate this. He said, "I will date a woman with kids for a short while, but I will never settle down with a woman with kids because now." That's what the betas do. But the way he said it was very elegant, and I didn't capture it correctly. But it made a lot of sense. But now you got a lot of guys that are.
What was the point of what he said, though?
It was essentially there's no ad. So now there's no.
Hold on, Jay. His whole point was now society has demasculated so many men that they're willing to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Like basically,
what does that have to do with a woman that has kids, though? I'm trying to understand that part.
No, what he's saying is basically if you're looking at it mathematically, there's no advantage for a man now to marry. There's no advantage for a man to take on the added responsibility of somebody's children that aren't his because of how society has demasculated a man.
But what about a man who has kids?
I hit a.
Who gets together with a single female?
I think that's different.
I think.
How's it? It's the same thing.
I think that there's.
So I hit it completely wrong, and I know where you're going with
this. Point though, I mean, I'm trying to understand.
He's just saying. So there's a lot of assholes out there, and a lot of women will date assholes. They love being with assholes for some unknown reason. A lot of guys will hit it and quit it really quick, and these women allow it to happen. But then at the same time, these women. They will still date these assholes and deadbeats. They expect that 666. They want somebody who's 6 foot tall, 6 figures, and a 6-inch dick. You know what I mean?
That's it.
That's it. 666. But that's what they're looking for, and they got like a lot of unrealistic expectations. And they'll screw around with just about anybody, but they won't settle because they want that 666.
Are you sure it shouldn't be like 6'10"?
Yeah, you wish.
I'm just.
You'd still be single. But it's just there's a lot of unrealistic expectations on the male's perspective, female's perspective. And I don't know where I was going with it because it completely.
Because now he's worried about getting in trouble.
I don't give a shit. I'm single. What do I got to worry about getting in trouble with?
Listen, what he was saying during that interview, because I watched that interview. was that there just lacks an advantage. It doesn't mean that there are good men that don't find women with children that are good women. But it is becoming harder and harder as this expectation changes for what a man should do. So, if you look at, especially if you go on social media, you look at the TikTok, you look at the Instagram, there's a lot of interviews with women now that are, and they're younger. They're not our age, thank God.
Well, I think too, you have a lot of, and it's not a knock on women. It's, if a guy has a kid for some reason, it's no issue. But right. When a woman has a kid,
there's an issue.
Has 3 or 4 kids from 3 or 4 different baby dads, there's a psychological issue with her. You know what I mean?
Especially, whether it's right or wrong.
Well, yeah, I think you're changing it up now that you said 3 or 4 dads, though.
Yeah. So I got to rewatch the interview, but the way he touched on it,
you're going to get torched for this.
I don't give a shit.
I'm just letting you know. I'm all I'm saying is that men have
all right,
become.
Let's pivot.
Men have become a basically a check in the eyes of a lot of women. Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
We become a check. So if you're a guy, what is the value? And listen, I'm happily married, and this isn't my first marriage. So I have been through this, and I haven't experienced this. And I'm very, very lucky. I would say I'm very, very lucky. I have a very value-filled, I'm very content and happy with my relationship. But it pains me to see when I see these clips of women that are like, well, he should pay for everything. I've got $500,000 in my account, and this guy's almost broke, but he should pay everything because I'm the woman. And, it's like, well, hold up a second. Well, are your expectations meeting what reality really is? And then do you wonder why you are alone?
Well, so I'm going to take it back real quick. So I think more what he was trying to say, you have these women that aren't working, got multiple kids. Some people find true love, whatever, it is what it is. But then there's always that one guy now, like you remember the McDonald video that went crazy where the guy had a kid with a woman who had kids from like 3 other guys, and he brought his kid and not the other 3 kids McDonald's for dinner or whatever, and she had a fit that he didn't buy McDonald's for the other kids that were not his. So you have some women that, and it's not all women, it's the women that aren't working that expects all these men to take care of their responsibility, when you got a lot of independent women that are working, doing what they need to do, and being a positive member of society, and they're putting in the work and sharing that load. So what he was going back to was more the beta males that were taking care of these women that aren't working, that got multiple children from multiple men, and they're just settling down because now they're a meal ticket. Kind of like what Kanye West said, she's a gold digger, get you for 18 years, leaving the Super Bowl.
I hear what you're saying, but my wife, we met online. My wife had never been on online dating. Crazy, man. I've been on online dating for like years.
Dude, I've been on there for years. Believe me, I know.
Let me finish. But no, I've been on there for years. It got to the point where I'm like you, Dan.
When did you change from the gay to the straight side?
My wife has brought you up about one of her friends, though, and I'm like, I don't know. And Dan just likes his single life. He just likes his being free. Come on, Dan. Come over to his house. But so I was sitting in a bar one night, 2 beers in, 3 beers in. I think it was Bumble or something like that, though. So you cannot see anybody's profile.
Yes, you can.
Well, it's not like, I can't remember the dating apps, but some apps ask you a lot of questions, though. How many kids you have, all this, though.
Oh, you're looking at like Match or...
yeah, Match, something like that, though. This was Bumble, though.
Christian singles? Farmers.com?
This wasn't like Grindr or something
let him go. Go ahead, Craig.
Let's step back a bit. They're going to fight here in a minute.
So this was one of those crazy nights where, when I say crazy night for me, it was 2-3 beer, being single, just moved. Military just takes me here in Pittsburgh. I think she thought when you swiped left was when you got rid of...
Oh, you were an accident?
Yeah, she meant to swipe left, but she swiped right. So we started talking. So I had no idea she had 3 kids, though. And here we are 5 years later. She has 3 kids, and I feel like I have 5 kids now. 5 amazing kids.
But you're a good dude.
You're a good dude. I wouldn't call you a beta.
It's not about me. It's about her, though. But I will tell you this. That woman will leave. I can make $1 million a year, and that woman will leave me tomorrow. If she's not happy, she could care less about the money, and she'll go live with her mom and put her and her 3 kids up there.
It's because you're ugly, too.
But there's a lot of good women out there, too, who do not care about the money, though, too. And she would...
No, you're completely right.
But my wife would be gone tomorrow, could care less about the money.
But...
Especially if you told her about October.
No, I think we're saying we're to bring it back. Basically, what we're saying is that you had a generation that grew up, a generation of women. Did you watch Oprah? No. Did you watch Oprah?
No.
Did you watch Oprah?
No.
You had a generation of women that grew up listening to bitches that don't know shit.
I think they put the unrealistic expectations out there for these women, and the rom-coms also did that. Put those unrealistic.
Yeah. Now listen. Is there a lot of improvement for men out there? You betcha. I mean, listen. I don't know how other households work, but I know that when I see something that needs to be done around the house, I do it. I have things that I do because I look at my wife and I go, here is a woman that works her ass off. She makes money for this house. She provides a comfort level. She cooks for all of us a lot of the times. So you know what? She's not going to do dishes. She's not going to do laundry. She's not going to clean
all of us over there like, I do dishes. I take out the trash.
What you care? What'd you care if your other half made more money than you?
I didn't give a shit. Hell yeah. I'm all about it. Make more money.
Thing. I've dated women that made more money than me, and that's not an issue.
Nope, not at all.
The issue is just mutual respect.
Communication.
And if you know my lifestyle, if I'm making $60,000 at the time and you're making $400,000, you need to pick up a dinner check if we're going out to these 5-star restaurants. I'm just saying.
We ain't trying to flex at Eddie V's every weekend. I mean, the whole thing goes about mutual respect and love, right? So when I know that Jennifer needs, she's tired, then it's my job as a man to make her life easy. Right? It's not.
I think it goes vice versa too.
It does.
The thing that I was trying to hit.
There's a lot of culpability on both sides.
There has to be an even key, even give and take. And I'm just saying, a lot of these women want to take, and they don't want to give to the relationship. Yeah. Especially now today, a lot of women don't know how to cook. You know what I mean? I know a lot of women, they eat out 7 days a week because they don't know how to cook.
Well, what about the one lady you were talking to that basically she goes out on Tinder or dates every
she has
week.
a stable. She has a stable
so
of guys.
She never has to pay for her meal.
Yeah. She did that for like 2 years where she had Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and all the dating apps. And she had a list of guys that she had to date every night just for dinner. And would be like, well, I got to get home early because I got to work in the morning.
You made a comment about this online dating thing that I think still resonates to me. God, thank God. Because I wouldn't succeed in the dating world now because I'm too fucking past it. I'd be like, look, I ain't got time for your bullshit. But basically, it's become a situation where you go on a date now with a lady, and now you're at the age in a station in life where you want to settle down. You're looking for that.
Oh, yeah, a lot of guys are, but a lot of guys aren't willing to put up with all the extra bullshit. Like, I'm not going to play guessing games. Yeah. If you're pissed off about something, speak up, say you're pissed off.
Tell me what the problem is. Yeah.
But the minute that you leave the restaurant, they're on their app swiping left and right again. Like there's no. That's
not a woman thing. That's a man-woman thing.
That's a whole generation thing.
I think we're getting too much on women, and that goes both ways.
I'm not talking. I'm saying, but the society has driven this to a point where it's shopping. Shopping.
Well, they're always looking for the next best thing. I was guilty of that for a while. I was always looking for the next best thing. Like, oh, this is great, but I think I could do a little better. And it goes vice versa. Everybody does that, and then you hit that point in life where it's like, all right, I know what I want. I'm not going to settle. I ain't going to date just to fucking date. Like, if I'm going to date, I want a future with you.
Yes.
And I think the problem is today, a lot of people just... They're looking for the next best thing.
Well, I used to feel like a lot of times we used to meet somebody through the traditional way. Went to a barbecue, we met somebody, we got to meet
organically.
Yes,
organically. You got to see their personality.
SAT word in the corner.
That was a good one.
You got to see somebody laugh, joke, hang out with their friends. And now a lot of times we're confined to an office. We don't get to go out. We don't get to socialize as much now. When you go on an online date, you meet somebody and they have a great personality, but you're like, you take them with a grain of salt. You're like, yeah, you were amazing tonight, but you're with a grain of salt. So I'm back on the app, looking who it is though too.
Well, there's that, and then you'll have conversations with somebody that you meet, on one of these dating apps, and you talk for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, before you finally go out because your schedules don't align or whatever the case may be, and then you go meet. And I understand people are shy, but then there's the opposite. I don't want to say catfish because, they'll still look like their photos, but those conversations and phone calls you were having, the personality's not the same person you were talking to on the phone or text
behind
message.
a keyboard?
Yeah, exactly.
Phone,
And I mean, Connor, you need to jump in on here because you're young, you're single.
So, what's it like being in your 20s with dating?
I think once you get out of college, it's pretty similar to what you're discussing. I mean, we still go out to the bars and stuff with our buddies, which you get to meet people that way. But in college, I mean, you either have a girlfriend or you don't, and you kind of do the hook up thing or whatever. But no, I mean, if you're not going to the bars, I mean, I used to be on dating apps. At the end of the day, they don't seem like they're worth the time to me. 95% of the people on there are hit it and quit it type of deal. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree 100%. So
it's true. It's truth. The truth.
So Jason can speak on this. Like, I'll get on the dating apps for like 2-3 months, go on a couple dates, and be like, "Fuck this, I'm done." And then 6 months later, I'll revisit it. And I've been on the dating apps now for probably like, say, 9 years. And honestly, I keep seeing the same women that I saw 9 years ago still on the dating apps. And it's just
they're talking about Dan. I've seen Dan Taylor on. I'm
just saying.
Have we? I don't understand this. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just.
Sometimes I wish I was Indian, so it's just arranged marriage. Here you go. You're good to go.
I mean, maybe there's just a misconception. Listen, I had a marriage that didn't work, and my ex is a great human being. She is a genuinely great human being. She gifted me with 2 beautiful children. She is a wonderful woman.
Dude, you're speaking nice about Avery. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm speaking the truth because there is nothing gained in ever trashing somebody that you created a life with. It just isn't. That's bitch move 101. Now, was I a pain in her ass? You betcha. Was she a pain in my ass? You betcha. We can laugh about it now. But I don't understand the way that there is this fucking stupid belief that you're going to meet somebody and it's all fucking la butterflies and fucking, thumbs up. Bullshit.
Whoa, stop crushing my dream.
Well,
that's going to happen.
Dude,
I'm going to swipe right and that's going to
happen. Listen, here's the deal. The women and men both need to understand that. Let me break it down real simple before we wrap up. You want to fucking die alone?
Dude,
the fuck? Do you want to die alone?
Dude, you're touching a sore subject right now.
Do you want to die alone?
Probably.
You got us.
No, it'll be better than the pain in the ass,
Listen, if you die alone, the things we're going to do to you while you're dead before we bury you is going to be horrific.
I'm going to outlive the 3 of you.
No, I guarantee you're a walking intensive care unit.
No.
Dude, Connor's 20 years younger than us. You're not living Connor.
Connor's like, I've got all of y'all beat. Well, the things I'm going to do to you guys.
I don't know. As heavy as he got into the whiskey game right now. You know what I'm saying?
His liver's going to shut down at 44.
So. All right, listen, we're going to wrap this bullshit up. Listen, hey, thanks, guys. Hey, weigh in. Tell us what you think. Are we a bunch of, sexist, misogynist assholes? These two are. I'm not. Go women. And Connor, he's too young. Do you need a date? Because Dan obviously is.
I'm good. I'm good being single.
No, you're not.
I'm 100% good.
No, you're not. You still want kids. You just said you wanted 6 kids.
I don't want kids.
You just said you wanted 6 kids,
dude. I will sell you.
I do not want children. I go to your kids' soccer games and I see some of these kids running around.
You're Uncle Dan, man. You're Uncle Dan. You got this.
I can be the cool uncle. Kids, I thought about being a teacher once. And I went to some of these schools to sit in that, you got to sit through those classes.
It's called an internship?
It's not an internship. You have to sit through classes and it's an observations. And I'll tell you what, these kids are wilding out.
Like a kindergarten teacher?
Yeah, he choked the piss out of one of them.
Exactly. That's why I gave that dream up. I'm like, I would be in the news for choking a kid. I'd be like that one woman who does like elementary kids with the Z patches.
Beat that kid?
No, she's giving the kids Z patches so they would sleep and be docile in class. And the parents found the Z patch on their arm. It's like, what's this? Oh, this is sleepy time. So I guess the teacher was just like drugging all these kids on a daily basis.
Really? Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Dude,
like, yeah, that'd be me because some of these kids are assholes.
You hear that, Oliver? You better act right. You're gonna get a teacher like Uncle Dan. He's gonna drop the hammer on you.
No, they just need to bring back the paddles.
You're gonna get Mr.
Bring back
Craig's.
the paddles.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be on. Yeah, you'll be in trouble. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Drop us your thoughts. Are we a bunch of idiots? Yeah, probably we are, but agree, disagree. And like we said before, check us out on Patreon. And August. November 2nd. Southern
Okay, Michael
Tier.
J. Fox, you hitting Back to the Future?
I'm just thinking about it. November 2nd, Southern Tier, noon until whenever we pass out or have to get carted off by Pittsburgh police. Check it out. And like we always say, thanks, guys, for tuning in. And until we see you next time, stay thirsty, my friends. Cheers.
Cheers.
You're going to break my fucking glass. You know that?
Stop your fucking crying.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast of Bullits and Bourbon. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.